biology, the scientific study of life. Diving mammals, the majority of animals can exchange gases continuously, but sometimes there is no access to the normal respiratory medium. For example, when an air breather swims underwater, whereas most humans, even well-trained divers, cannot hold their breath longer than 2 or 3 minutes or swim deeper than 20 meters. The woodle seal of Antarctica routinely plunges to 500 meters and remains there for about 20 minutes, sometimes for more than an hour. In contrast, humans need to carry extra air in the form of scuba tanks to remain submerged for comparable periods. For some species of seals, sea turtles, and whales make even more impressive dives. Elephant seals can reach depths of 1,500 meters, almost a mile, and stay submerged for as long as 2 hours. One elephant seal carrying a recording device spent 40 days at sea diving almost continuously with no surface period longer than 6 minutes. One adaptation of the woodle seal and other diving mammals is an ability to store large amounts of oxygen compared to humans. In the seal, or the seal can store about twice as much oxygen per kilogram of body mass. Mostly in the blood and muscles, about 36% of our total oxygen is in our lungs, and 51% is in our blood. In contrast, the woodle seal holds only about 5% of its oxygen in its relatively small lungs and may exhale before diving, which reduces buoyancy. Stockpiling 70% in the blood, the seal has about twice the volume of blood per kilogram of body mass as a human. Another adaptation is the seal's huge spleen, which can store about 24 liters of blood. The spleen probably contracts after a dive begins, fortifying the blood with erythrocytes loaded with oxygen. Diving mammals also have a high concentration of an oxygen-storing protein called myoglobin in their muscles. The woodle seal can store about 25% of its oxygen in muscle compared to only 13% in humans. Diving mammals not only begin an underwater trip with a relatively large oxygen stockpile, but also have adaptations that conserve oxygen. They swim with little muscular effort and often use buoyancy changes to glide passively upward or downward. Their heart rate and oxygen consumption rate decrease during a dive, and regulatory mechanisms affecting peripheral resistance route most blood to the brain, spinal cord, eyes, adrenal glands, and placenta in pregnant seals. Blood supply to the muscles is restricted and is shut off altogether during the longest dives. During dives of more than about 20 minutes, woodle seals muscles deplete. The oxygen stored in myoglobin and that derive their ATP from fermentation instead of respiration. The unusual abilities of the woodle seal and another air-breathing divers to power their bodies during long dives showcase two related themes in our study of organisms that respond to environmental challenges over the short term by physiological adjustments, and other the long term as a result of natural selection.